Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
We're going to start the prayer. Father, y'all, thank you right now for just being with us this day, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, thank you right now for waking us up this morning, closing our right mind. Father, y'all, thank you right now that we realize it's in the Mashiach that we live, and that we move, and that we have our being. Father, y'all, we thank you right now for just constantly directing us, Father, y'all, on this path, Father, y'all, on this path of life, Father, y'all.
Yes,
Father, y'all, we thank you right now even more, Father, y'all, for allowing us to walk in the rock, Father, y'all, the way we would not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Father, yeah, we come against all demonic forces, all demonic attacks, Father, yeah, all attacks concerning the flesh and the rock, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, we just thank you right now, Father, yeah, that you begin to just be with us, Father, even more to allow us to always be more than conquerors, Father, yeah. We think that we have the victory in the Mashiach, Father, yeah.
Yes,
Father, yeah, we just thank you right now as we come against all forms of rock, Father, yeah. We come against all forms of sickness, Father, yeah. We come against all forms of disease, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, we come against everything that's not like you, Father, yeah. Anything that tried to hinder us in our walk as a whole, we come against it right now, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, we magnify your name because you're worthy, Father, yeah. We thank you right now, Father, yeah, because there's none like unto you, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, I just like to lift up the name of your son, Yahushua Mashiach, Father, yeah. I thank you for being obedient all the way unto the death of the stake, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, I thank you right now that death could not hold, neither could the grave hold him. I thank you right now, Father, yeah, for just constantly, Father, yeah, just allowing, Father, yeah, to be in position, Father, yeah, to secure us, Father, yeah, as the mediator, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, I thank you right now, Father, yeah, we come to you, and we come to you, Father, yeah, in truth, Father, yeah. We come to you in the Ruach, Father, yeah. We come to you, Father, yeah, on a quest for knowledge, Father, yeah, on a quest for understanding, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, understanding who you are, Father, yeah, understanding what your mission is, Father, yeah, even more, Father, yeah. Understanding, Father, yeah, on our walk, Father, yeah, concerning you as a whole, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, we just magnify your name because you're worthy, Father, yeah. I just thank you right now because there's none like unto you, Father, yeah. In the name of your son, Yahushua Mashiach, we pray. So be it.
So be it.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're back. We're gonna be looking at the great deception. I guess many should be deceived, and I've been looking at this for a minute. People that got into what we call the truth, that start studying themselves to a point where next thing you know, they kept looking at so much information until they were no longer pretty much believing in the Most High and stuff. They start out by calling them the creator and stuff like that, and then next thing you know, they're talking about the universe. And they kind of referring to the universe as the Most High at that point. You got to be careful because a lot of people are going to be coming out with all kind of information. You have to make sure you get a personal relationship with the Most High. This is why it's important for the baptism in the Ruach HaKodesh. After you've been physically baptized, you need to get baptized in the Ruach HaKodesh, because if not, what happens? You're able to be deceived because you don't develop that personal relationship with the Most High. And you get that through prayer, through spending quiet time with the Most High, through reading the Word. But for the most part, you have to develop your heavenly language, like Jude talks about, praying in the Ruach HaKodesh, which is your utmost holiest faith. And if you don't do that, the next thing you know, you're involved in some type of New Age stuff. You're involved in some type of cosmos stuff. Next thing you know, you got sage, and a whole lot of stuff start happening when you're being deceived. It's like you're not trying to be deceived, but you're constantly searching. You're constantly looking for something that's new, or whatever the case may be. And I think that was like Paul when he talked about the Athens. When he went through Athens, he saw this inscription that said, "To the unknown Elohim." And when he saw that, he said, "I perceive that your people are most superstitious." And a lot of people are constantly looking for something new. When you're not content with knowing that the Most High, is the creator, and knowing that you have at least, looking at what we have here, I know we're missing a few books, there's more than 66, but there's enough here for you to be saved. There's enough here for you to develop a relationship with the Most High. And it's not saying that you don't keep searching, but you have to be careful when you are searching and you're on the quest for knowledge, that you don't get misled or be deceived, because if you don't watch it, next thing you know, somebody bring you some information. And Solomon talks about, to the maker of many books is no end. The reading of it brings on wearisome. I think that there is a select few people that can handle certain information. And when it gets deep, when information starts getting real deep, it just starts taking you down a rabbit hole. And the next thing you know, you're going so far down to you can't get back, because there's a lot of stuff that I've researched and studied. And, and I'm going to be honest, if it wasn't for my personal relationship with the Most High, it wouldn't have shook me from who the Most High is, but it would have shook me from the foundation that I have, the foundation that's in the Ruach, the way that he deals with me, the way that he showed me things, the way that I move, and how I perceive when I have favor in people's eyes, and the way he opened doors, and just the way things work in the Ruach realm. If I didn't have that relationship, I would probably went down a rabbit hole somewhere, because I study a lot, I research a lot, and a lot of people are researching a lot that's really not able to obtain that level of knowledge that they're coming into. It's like their knowledge is going further than the Ruach that they have. It's like the relationship that they have with the Most High is smaller than the information that they're finding out. It's like they're finding out so much information it's shaking them. And next thing you know, they're saying, hey, look, this isn't real. I want to go into something different. And next thing you know, they're blaming this whole cipher that we have, saying that it comes from, the Caucasians and stuff like that. And then now you looking at Egyptology, and you're trying to go into Pan-Africanism and stuff. And when you start doing that, you start going down a rabbit hole that'll show you all kind of stuff. I saw one fellow that had some stuff that looked like the mercy seat with the sheriff angels on there, and he was comparing it to something that was going on in Egypt, and he was showing you that to debunk what the Most High showed Moshe to put in the most holy of holies. And if you keep looking at that stuff, the next thing you know, you'll be shaken, you'll be deceived, and you won't even believe in anything. It's like you'll find yourself with some group, and next thing you know, you'll be in a cult. And you'll be in what you call, I would say, synthetic witchcraft for the most part, because you'll be got away from the foundation. You have to stick hold into the foundation that you have. If you have a foundation in the Most High, don't let no level of knowledge shake you from that foundation. We understand that their names have been played with, their word games. We understand that it's been translated into from Hebrew to English and the Greek and all that. I get all that, but when you start researching certain things and you get caught up into too much information that start going down a road of Egyptology and pro, black and this and that, next thing you know, you just don't believe anymore. Because I'm seeing this happen. A lot of people, even some stuff they would put out on YouTube, you go back 3 or 4 years ago, they was talking about things spiritual, and now everything they put out is something to debunk whether or not, we're even in anything similar to the truth or not. And so you have to be careful, because if you don't, you will be shaken. And that's why it's so important that I put emphasis on the baptism in the Ruach HaKodesh versus just, once you've been regularly baptized, that's fine, but you got to go further. You got to develop that personal relationship. It's warfare out here. And the battle is on. It's like the enemy hates you. It's like, and people don't realize it's not a light thing. The enemy hates you with a pure hatred. It's like, he's looking to destroy you and take you down with him. That's where the deception comes in at, because people are looking for something that they feel like that wasn't there already. And it talks about there's nothing new under the sun. So there's nothing that you're going to find that's new to the point where you say, okay, this is what I've been looking for. When you're looking for something like that just changes the whole concept of what we are, as children of the Most High, you go into some other type of deal where you're in a whole different ball game that has nothing to do with the Most High. Start taking you down the road on that road, the Most High is not with you, because you begin to worship some type of idol. The thing itself that you're studying becomes an idol, because you start looking for it for some sense of comfort for the quest of knowledge that you've been on. Next thing you know, you're going down a rabbit hole. And it's very important that you don't get caught up into that. You have to learn to be content to some degree. No, don't stop studying, but also as you are studying, you need to pray, and you need to make sure that you're seeking the Most High in the process. But if you're studying by yourself without involving the Most High, you need to make sure that he's leading you. Sometimes he'll lead you on what to read. Sometimes he'll just be there with you in the process. Make it known that, hey, Most High, don't let anything shake my foundation. Make sure that if I'm looking into something, that I don't go too far. If it's something that it's not time to look at, quench my ruach and let me know that, hey, look, it's not time for that. Now you need to get close to me so you can handle that. Sometimes people get to so much information and they can't handle it, and then they lose their personal relationship with the Most High. Because the people that I'm seeing, that I see once into the truth or once into anything concerning the word of Yah, that go down the wrong road, I no longer sense the ruach of the Most High with them. It's like they went off on their own. It's kind of like, they just went off on their own. It's like they have no shepherd anymore. It's like they just wandered about to the point where they wandered into some different type of religion or something. They try to say it's not one, but it is one, because they're looking toward it for guidance. So if you're looking toward it for some guidance or some help, is something that you're using to mold and shape you. And most of the time people start taking on the identity of whatever that they're into, and it's usually develop some type of hardness. Like it's like that once you saw some type of, I would say approachable softness to them to some degree, that was a balance, but now most of them are just turned, most of them look like they've turned mad for the most part, to the point where it's like they just don't hear anything. It's like they begin to be upset with the very idea that we even had what we had, which is our foundation in the beginning. Pretty much starts with the 66 and you go there to the Apocrypha. After you leave the Apocrypha, at that point, you really need to be praying heavy when you start seeking more outside information, because it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going and going. You're going to find yourself chasing something that you're not going to get to. You're not going to get to the end, because it's going to be a debate until we leave here on what is the exact truth or not. That's why you have to make sure you're in the Ruach, because when you pray in the Ruach, that's not nothing written in words. It's like that's just you and the Most High going straight directly to him. The Mashiach talked about, in Matthew, that many will come in my name and mislead many and deceive many. He said, just don't, if they're saying it there, don't go follow them, because you're going to know that this here has to happen. There's going to be a great falling away. People are going to start following ones that are doing miracles and signs and wonders, because it's lacking in the body of Mashiach. So since it's lacking on our end, they're going to be gravitating to that end. See, the enemy is just a great deceiver. The only thing he does is mimic what the Most High does. If you look at it, say how marvelous, how Satan keeps transforming to, an angel of light, and his ministers to ministers of righteousness. So this is what he does. He transforms. But when you look at Philip, if I'm not mistaken, Philip, when the Mashiach told me, say, I saw you the other day by the fig tree. Well, that's why Philip believed. He said, you believe because I tell you I saw you by the fig tree? I was saying like that. So he was letting them know that's why you believe. This is the thing. People are going to believe because of the signs and wonders. When those signs and wonders came, they were trying to get hold to Mashiach, trying to grab him. He would, go the other way and stuff. He had to come in disguise most of the time. So the enemy is going to do the same thing. When the one comes that trying to say that he is the savior, he's going to do these miracles and do these wonders, and people are going to gravitate because people want to see things that excite them, that are supernatural. And that's why people seek these witch doctors, sorcerers, and all this stuff. They're trying to see something that is not natural, but they don't want to get it this way because it's a longer road, because you have to develop some type of relationship with the Most High in order to get to that point. It's not just handed to you, but they got to realize nothing is for free. When the enemy gives you something, it's a price to it. It's a heavy price to it. And you're thinking that, hey, look, I got this, but you have to pay. And when you come back to pay, at some point, you may go so far down the line to it's like it's too late for you to even gather yourself where you can make sure that your soul is safe. So you have to make sure that you go down the right way to get what you got to get. Don't go through the back door as a thief and as a robber. But let's look at 2 Timothy chapter 3, starting off at the first verse.
This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, petty, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yah, having a form of regard for Yah, but denying the power of Yahuwah. From such turn away.
And this is the thing. So that was a whole lot to stop. But when you look at this a lot, when you go back over there, you see one of the key things, lovers of their own selves. When you look at a lot of this stuff, proud, just picking out a few certain things in here, truth breakers, incontent, whatever that word is, that the word being impatient, like or not? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was looking at that for there. False accusers, like they're not going to have any type of integrity. That's what you're looking at. It's a whole lot in there. This is what's going to happen in the last days, all of this. And lovers of their own selves is the key thing, because that's what's going on now. And I hate to keep talking about this. That's what's going on now when you see somebody constantly taking a lot of pictures of themselves. It's I call it the me Elohim. You know what I'm saying? The people constantly snapping shots, constant 24/7. If you look at this, that's what kind of world we're in. This is where the the proud come in at, the boasters come in at people doing it, and they're trying to make light of it, but it's self-worship. If if you're not some type of photographer or something like that, you're not in something that calls your job, you got to do this. And every time I look up, it's 50 or 60 pictures in a few days of you. That's self-worship. I mean, there's no way you can explain it. I mean, like, people don't need to know what you got on 24/7. So it's like, that's got to be some form of self-worship if you're constantly doing that. Like, there's no other way around it. But we look at it in a light way because we overlook the reason behind all this stuff, the social media, TikToks and all this stuff. This stuff was created for some form of distraction. It's like, and we could say anything that we want to say to try to curb it, but at the end of the day, it's not good, because a lot of people get caught up into this because people get low-key starstruck. It's like they don't realize that they're trying to be famous on something that doesn't even matter or not. People don't really care most of the time. Yeah.
For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now, as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moshe, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the belief.
Yeah. And so basically, just like they did when they were in the showdown with Moshe, when he dropped the snake and began to turn the rod into a snake, with James and James did the same thing, but Moshe's snake ate theirs. So it just shows that that's what the enemy does. He mimics. He tries to do everything and does everything the Most High do to us to an extent, but his power is not strong like the Most High's power when it comes to him going against the Most High. But when it comes to him going against you, you're nothing compared to the enemy. Like, you can't fight the enemy without the power of the Most High. That's what people don't realize. You can't fake or fight with the enemy. You have to really have a relationship with the Most High and know that he's helping you when you're going up against forces of darkness. And if you don't know this, then that's when you get caught up into deception and you're bound. You're thinking that, hey, you're getting free, but you're bound. You have to have the help of the Most High. Even Michael the Archangel did not bring a relevant accusation against Hasatan when it came to the dispute of the bones of Moses. He simply just rebuked him in the name of Yahuwah. He rebuked him. So that shows you there that, it's like, when you look at this here, you can't do this on your own. You have to do this in the strength of the Most High. That's why I say you have to have the whole armor of Yahweh. If you don't have the whole armor on, he's going to catch you lacking. So you can't go on thinking that, that these things won't, I would say, entrap you, because you have to look at this. If you don't watch out, you'll get caught up into this stuff. That's why you have to narrow down a lot of the self-worship, narrow down a lot of the hatred. Like, hatred comes in through depression, and all these things just start piling up. And next thing you know, you develop some form of hatred to the point where you're not even compassionate toward mankind as a whole, because you begin to get caught up into whatever it is that caused you to be depressed, that caused anger to set in, whatever it is that happened to you. Like, you have to know how to let certain things go. Unforgiveness will cause you to develop hatred. Like, all these things will start from something. And the next thing you know, one thing will lead to another. But in the midst of all this, when you're at these positions, when the enemy comes, he tries to find a weak point. He's trying to find a point where you think you can do this on your own. When it gets to a point where you think that you got this, that's when the enemy comes in and tries to distract you or try to destroy you at this point, because his job is not to destroy you. Distract you is to destroy you. But it starts with a distraction. And in the midst of that distraction, you get destroyed because you're trying to go on your own accord. We're not powerful enough to do this on our own. That's why you have to make sure that you multiply, make sure that you're actually connected. Some people need support system that they can lean on and depend on, that they can tell certain things to. That's why the word says, confess your faults one to another. It talks about these things. It's telling you this for a reason. It's like, we don't see why, so we just ignore it. But why is because that's where you actually begin to get your strength at, because you can't hold on to these things. When you hold on to faults and things of that nature, anything that's done in the darkness will be manifested by the light. And so if you hold on to these things, then it begins to be a heavy burden upon you. So therefore, you can't fight because the weight is too heavy, and the enemy begins to have a field day with you. So you have to make sure that you're not caught up into something that you can't get out of. You have to reach out for some form of help, because if you don't, this is when the enemy catch you lacking. And next thing you know, he comes in and begins to have that battlefield and that playground with your mind, you know what I'm saying, which is the battlefield. He begins to come in and attack you in the mental area, which begins to take you down. And it also begins to take you down those roads. So you start researching more, you start figuring out what I need to do. Next thing you know, you're getting further and further away from the Most High. But if you look at what he told James, he said that you submit yourself unto Yah, resist the enemy, and he will flee. That's just what you have to do. Draw nigh to Yah, and he will draw nigh to you. But if you do that, you'll be okay. But if you get caught up into any of this stuff, boastful, proud, blaspheming, all this stuff, unthankful, unholy, all this stuff here is what people are doing now, and they're making light of it because the whole world is doing it. We're not supposed to be following what's going on social media and all this stuff here and what we see people doing. This stuff is a great distraction. If you don't watch out, you'll be robbed of your personal time with the Most High. You have to set some type of time to the side where you can develop, a pattern of dealing with the Most High, learning how to hear from the Most High and move when you say move, because if not, when we get further down the line, people are not going to know what to do because this isn't it. You think that pandemic was something, wait till all this other stuff come out. It's like so much stuff is going on and it's not stopping. Like we have to make sure we're close to the Most High. Have to make sure you're doing what he wants you to do, because when the time comes, things just pop out of nowhere. And it didn't come out of nowhere, but for our world, it comes out of nowhere. But they're working on stuff in the vaccines and you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going on when they open up CERN. All this kind of stuff is happening and we're just rolling, just going through nonchalantly. But you have to realize that the Most High, even now he's starting to show me that, hey, when you get up certain times of night, just start praying sometime. If it seems to be unnatural, start praying sometime. Start going into warfare the best way you know how. Seeking me, just praise me, whatever you need to do, because the natural man will not defeat the spiritual realm. It just won't happen. You cannot stand up against any type of demonic activity on your own. You have to have the power of the Most High with you. You have to have some sense of knowing that the Most High is on your side. Other than that, you're just defeating yourself. You're just fooling yourself. Let's turn to the next 2 Timothy chapter 4. You start off.
I charge you therefore before Yahuwah and the Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word, be ready in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned into fables.
And this is the thing here I want to get to, getting hold to this sound doctrine. This is why he was letting Timothy know to preach the word in season, out of season. Stay away from any of the foolishness. A lot of people going to be trying to bring all type of stuff in the mix of this, but you have to stand and defend sound doctrine. You have to preach sound doctrine. You have to make sure that the doctrine is not tainted. You have to make sure that you're not just, people want to have stuff that make them feel good. They want to hear stuff that make them feel excited. And this is what usually happens in the normal traditional church world. People are just hearing stuff to get them excited and to get them going, but they're not hearing what they need to hear to get their life on track. They're hearing something that's going to take them to another level in the carnal realm, like that. We have to make sure that we're dealing with something that's going to take us to another level in the spiritual realm, also along with everything. So when you have sound doctrine is what's going to hold you. Sound doctrine is what's going to have you in a position where, even though it may feel like medicine and it may taste nasty, but it may also, and you may not like what it sounds like, it may also help you in the inner man. It'll help you to grow, because it doesn't seem good to somebody to even hear some of this stuff. When you wake up in the middle of the night, start praying, people ignore that stuff. Man, it's crazy. They don't think about none of this stuff. And the people that think about it don't realize that there are a lot of people that don't think like we think. They're not thinking that's normal. They're thinking like that's stupid. They're thinking, hey, look, there's nothing going on, but a lot of stuff is going on at certain times of the night. A lot of stuff is happening throughout the day. You have to make sure that you're on your post. It's like we have to get to a point where, we could develop some type of team to actually battle in the realm, because it's constant warfare. It's constantly going on. And when this warfare is going on, whether you want to be on the battlefield or not, you're on the battlefield. You have people being attacked that don't know how to fight back at all. They don't have a clue on how to fight back. Fighting back is not just praying to the Most High. You have to know how to engaged in warfare. You have to know how to actually get to a point where you're battling, where you're not just there laying down, taking it. You can't just be at the mercy of Yah. I'm saying that because that's not what he's wanting. He's not wanting you just to be at his mercy and saying, hey, look, he's going to take care. He's equipped you to take care of it. And if you're not equipped, he wants you to get equipped because the tools are here. If you look at it, everything is designed for you to actually be in battle, not for you just to be standing back and taking punches and not doing anything. And that's what we have to get to. And we have to make sure that we're not misled. Make sure that we're not just hearing stuff and doing stuff that just feels good and sounds good. We have to make sure that we're doing that thing that the flesh don't like, so we can get to a point where we can withstand things that come up against us. So go ahead.
But watching all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of your ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have guarded the belief. So
that's the thing. So he say here, fought the good fight, finished his course, guarded the belief. This is a fight constantly. This is why when you hear the Apostle Paul begin to say, so fight I not as one that beat the air. Like that, he's not fighting just swinging aimlessly. He's fighting to land punches. And the punches he's landing is to do just what the reason why the Mashiach came, for this cause that he came, that he may destroy the works of the enemy. He came that he may destroy those dark works. That's why he said, when the prince of this world comes, but he'll find nothing in me. Like, so we have to look at everything. Just because you'll hear things about having the victory and triumphing and all this stuff. That stuff doesn't just happen because you read it. To triumph and to have the victory, you have to engage. You have to make sure that, that's why I say I can do all things through the Mashiach that strengthens me. What are you being strengthened for? Just to sit there? You're being strengthened so that you can be able to withstand, so you can be able to fight. Like, strengthening is for a reason. That's no reason to strengthen someone just to keep taking blows and just keep strengthening them and they keep taking blows. That doesn't even sound right. That's why you have to look at it. That's why I say I fought the good fight. Like, it's not just normal. Like, when you look at all this stuff, everything is happening around you for a reason. Everything is going down while you're just laying there lame duck, and it's like you're just constantly taking these attacks. Spiritual attacks are coming. All kind of stuff is happening. There's no way to engage without the proper information, without going through proper training. It's like you have to get to a point where you know how to set up a small spiritual boot camp, something that you can go through, a process where you can go through that includes fasting, that includes praying, that includes you studying and reading in a process throughout a series of events where you can get to a point where you can fight. And this is what you have to do. Is like, it's not just going to happen. Like, these battles are coming. And like, the Most High is not going to just erase every battle. Some stuff you go through and you get beat up because of the fact that you're not even trying to fight back. You're just laying down and taking it. If you at least try to fight back, trying to fight back, once again, is not just simply saying, help me. It's not being at the mercy of the Most High. That's not it. That's for somebody that's actually operating as a babe in Mashiach. But when you actually start growing, when you start being able to get past the milk and get on meat, you have to engage in warfare. You have to realize that you have a weapon, and the weapon of your warfare, you have to realize they are not carnal. That's where you have to get into what is the weapon that you have. This is what you have to research and find out to get you equipped to a point. When you start looking at Ephesians, start looking at the whole armor. But when you have that whole armor, what do you do with it? Like, and you have to realize that if you don't use it, it's no use. A soldier standing there with his armor on, just standing there, is gonna get killed. All that armor is not gonna stop you from being smashed. Like, you have to know how to maneuver with the armor. You gotta know how to move. So it's like, that's why I want to look at that, just to show you that it's getting to a point now where a lot of people, they're leaving the truth. A lot of people are getting into all kind of other stuff. They're not being content with what they have to a degree. It's not saying settle for false information. Being content is at least knowing that the Most High exists, and that we do have a spiritual realm, and that you do have to be saved under Mashiach in order to make it into the kingdom. It's like you got a lot of people moving away from the basic fundamentals of what we have as the body of the Mashiach. It's like they're not even looking at that. But if you don't know how to maneuver, the armor alone won't help you just standing there. If I have armor on and I'm out there and somebody shoots some type of bomb, they throw a dynamite or something, and I don't move, what's good is the armor? It's nothing. The armor is for me being strategic. So when things at least scrape me or get past me or something, I'm able to maneuver and bounce back. There's no magic trick to it. You have to utilize this. You have to make sure that you are engaging in warfare for real, because warfare is coming against you on a regular basis. And this is something that I got to drive home, because like a lot of these messages we put out as a foundation, but now it's getting to where you have to get to the meat of things, where everything that my end goal is spiritual warfare. My end goal is delivering people from out of the hands of being ensnared by the enemy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. The rest of that stuff was just to get to this point. But at this point is where we move forward to say, okay, how do we snatch back these people that's been mentally deceived and got into Egyptology and got into New Age stuff and got into New Age meditation with yoga and stuff that they start looking at as a religion. Like, you know, I understand there's some movements that you can use for physical therapy that yoga may mimic, but when you start doing these movements as these signs that they're showing you for whatever entity that is representing, that's when you begin to be deceived. So that's why you have to make sure that you know what you're getting involved in. Make sure you realize that when you start getting engaged and start focusing and keying in on stuff like the third eye as a religion, and when you start using that to take the place of the Ruach HaKodesh, that's when the problem starts. There's nothing wrong with the pineal gland. It's just when you start focusing on that to lead you, that's when the problem begins to start. Like I say, everything that the Most High created in you is good, but it needs to be submitted unto him so it can be for his good use, not that you're trying to use it to go accomplish something outside of him on your own. That's when witchcraft starts, at that point. Let's look at Colossians chapter 2. You can start. Yeah.
For I would that ye know with great conflict I have for you and for them at Laodicea, and for as many as have not seen my face in the flesh, that their hearts may be comforted, being knit together in love, and into all riches of the full assurance of understanding, to the acknowledgement of the mystery of Yahuwah, and of the Father, and of the Mashiach, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. And this I say, lest any man should beguile you with enticing words.
Okay, I'm saying this because Paul is getting them ready. Once again, we're talking about the falling away. He's letting them know that it's going to try to happen. You know, people are going to try to deceive you, beguile you, say, with enticing words. People, the whole goal back then was to turn people away from the truth. That's what's happening now. And enticing words is to people that, you know, people can be enticed that don't have, like I said, a relationship with the Most High, that don't have a foundation that they can stand on. They can be moved. You don't have a solid foundation, you can be shaken. And so you gotta make sure that nobody can come along and tell you simple stuff like the Most High don't exist. And you think this stuff is minute to people that come from some type of background of the traditional church. Yeah, but you got people that don't come from that. You got people that come from other backgrounds. You got people that don't have the mind. We have to stop looking down, figuring that everybody gets stuff all the time, because everybody don't think common. Everybody don't have that basic relationship with the Most High that a lot of us have. There's a lot of people out here, if it wasn't so, they wouldn't be shaken. Like, what's causing these people to go into all this New Age stuff and go into Egyptology? It's got to be that they don't have it. Like, and people that you thought had it don't have. Just because you saw somebody shouting and jumping around doesn't mean they had a personal relationship with the Most High. They had a form of Yah, but they denied the power thereof, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be over there doing that stuff. What they're doing now, these people are not close to the Most High. Just because you saw people that were saying his name and that was just praising him and singing on the praise team, that don't mean nothing. Because if you can be shaken, you didn't have a foundation with the Most High. You had a foundation with the church that you was with. You had a foundation with the entertainment of the church. You had a foundation with the pastor. You had a foundation with the members there. You had a fellowship that didn't include the Most High. It included what they done there, and it excluded the Most High. That's why you have to make sure that when people come along with enticing words, that they can't say anything that's going to shake you. That's why Paul had to let them know, look, stand firm. Don't let nobody put you on no different path. Go ahead, babe.
5. For though I be absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the Ruach, joying in beholding your order, in the steadfastness of your belief in Mashiach. As ye have therefore received Mashiach, Yahusha, our Adonai, So walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the belief, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach.
Paul, once again, he's talking about that they're rooted in everything. But he's saying, once again, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. And it's talking about the rudiments of this world. Once again, that's what's going on. People being beguiled, like they're being actually tricked to go study something different. This is what happened to the people that I'm seeing that were once talking about the Most High. Now they're sitting down in the Indian style with burning some sage and stuff, and just just a lot of stuff going on. If you have discernment, you can see when the spirit changes on the person. You'll see the spirit of the Most High there, and the next thing you know, you'll see some type of self-guided spirit on them, some other type of deal going on. You can just see through it. And this is what happens. Like, they wasn't rooted. These people wasn't rooted. The ones Paul talking to, he already know what's going on with them, but he's telling them don't get caught up into it because you should be okay. But the ones I'm talking about wasn't even at that point. They wasn't rooted in Mashiach. They were actually just there going along. Some people never even experienced the church experience. Some people just heard about the truth. And the next thing you know, someone came along and said, hey, look, they showed them a few words that were off. They were probably translated from Hebrew to Greek and something else, Arabic or something. And now we have the English translation. They say, look, that wasn't supposed to be there. They had this. Now they're not believing nothing. All behind that. That alone shouldn't shake you. That's why you have to make sure that you don't stop with the physical water baptism. You have to be baptized in the Ruach HaKodesh. That's why they begin to have that conversation when he say, he that comes after me is before me. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to look at this. He said, I baptize with water, but he baptized with fire in the Ruach HaKodesh. And that's what's important now. That's what's important. Not that you diminish the other, but you have to have that so you can get to a point where you can do what Jude is saying, praying in your utmost holy faith, praying in the Ruach HaKodesh. How do you hold on from being shaken when this information comes and begins to just come at you from the north, south, east, and west? There's so much information. I'm not a wicked person, but if I was a wicked person, I can gather up information that can make somebody don't believe none of this because there's just that much information out there. But I know better because of the fact that I have a relationship with the Most High, so I know to stick to the foundation and don't go too far down the road because it don't stop. There's no end to the rabbit hole. Like, there's so much stuff that was changed, but it shouldn't change who the Most High is. It shouldn't change being saved. It shouldn't change that we're in a realm that's spiritual. Like, we are here experiencing everything that's going on in our flesh, but the real force behind us is spiritual on both ends, be it good or bad. Go ahead, babe.
For in him dwells all the fullness of Elohim bodily.
Okay, so basically, Paul was just ensuring them to just stand firm. But we have to make sure that, that we're not deceived, that we don't let somebody bring something new. That's why scripture begins to say, if he that comes and start preaching another Mashiach, you start preaching another Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody come telling you something different. Don't let nobody come telling you anything. That's why Paul said, if I, angel from heaven, preach any other gospel, let us be a curse. Let me be a curse. He's saying, don't go for anything like that. It doesn't matter who it is. So you can't use angels as an excuse. They're not supposed to come changing doctrines. They're messengers. They're helpers. This is why House of Time was pitched from the beginning. He didn't want to serve mankind. He said, who are they? I'm made and created after you in fire. And you want me to serve them, a mortal being? Can't do it. And this is why he bailed out. So we have to look at this and just see what the deal is and look at why is it that this is even going on? Why is there a battle at all? Like, the end goal is to make it to the kingdom, but in the process, there's a battle because there's pure hatred. War has been declared against us. It's been declared, and it didn't stop with House of Time. Remember the other ones that came in Genesis chapter 6 in the first beginning when they looked upon the Son of Man. They put on bodies, and you have the Nephilim and the giants and all this stuff is created. And a lot of this stuff is hard to believe, but this is where we have that realm of things. What happens when the flood comes and these spirits don't die and they get washed away? Think about it. And so we just have to make sure that we realize that the realm of warfare is right here. And you have to engage. And going in with prayer. Father, y'all, just thank you right now for the word that went forth. We thank you right now for y'all that we don't be deceived. Father, y'all, we thank you right now we lay hold for y'all to the solid foundation in the Mashiach. Father, Yah, we thank you right now for just constantly leading and guiding us, Father, Yah, as we depart, Father, Yah. In the name of Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, we pray. So be it.